Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia, and in this video it's a very simple kind of semi slouchy hat that we're making for Halloween. And as you can see here, obviously it's Halloween colors. We have black and orange, and this is what we're going to be working on today. Okay, so it's very simple, nothing complicated. I added some little details here that will make it a little bit more spooky in a sense, but very nice and very comfortable to wear, as well as very easy to do. Okay, so without any further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Okay my lovelies, so before we start with the project, I'm gonna show you the materials that I'm using for it today. And as you can see here, I have my two color yarns. This is my black is from this company called Azurite. It's 100% acrylic, and this is black, and it's a lightweight number 3. And for this one here is a leftover yarn from another project, and it is orange. I'm gonna call it orange. I don't have the labels for it to be able to give you all the details, but I know this one is a medium weight number 4. Okay, so it's a little bit bigger than this one here, but both are just leftover yarns that I'm using from different projects that I've completed in the past. For crochet hook size, I'm going to be using a 5mm crochet hook, which is H8 US. I have my darning needle here, I have my scissors, and I have my tape measure so we can work on the size that we're looking for. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay my lovelies, so I'm gonna start the band of the hat with the black yarn, and I really hope you can see. It's really difficult to work with black yarn, but I'm really going to make sure I focus on this part here so you guys can see it properly. But this is pretty much the yarn we're starting with to do the band of the hat. Okay, so I'm gonna leave a little bit of a long tail here just so we can use it to join the two sides of our band together. And then you're gonna start by doing a slip knot just like this. Okay, and then when you have your slip knot like that, we're gonna go ahead and do a chain of 11. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 and 11. Okay, so I hope you guys can see this chain here. So this is my chain of 11, and that is going to be this the width of my band here. So this is how wide the band will be. It's going to shrink a little bit when we work our next stitches into it, but this is pretty much what you're doing at the beginning here. If you do want your band to be a little bit wider, you can continue to do more chains, and if you want it to be a little bit narrower, then you can go ahead and reduce the chains. Okay, and I apologize for the noise that you hear. I have some noise that is coming from outside. Okay, so now that I have my chain of 11, I'm going to start by doing single crochets in the backs of this foundation chain. So I'm going to skip this one here where my loop is coming out of, and in the next one I'm going to flip it to the back, and I'm going to do a single crochet stitch. And obviously for those of you who follow my tutorials, you already know this part of how I start most of my projects. And then in the next stitch, you're gonna go ahead and grab the back loop and complete a single crochet. And then you're gonna go into the next and grab the back loop and complete your single crochet. And you're gonna do this all the way to the end here. So meet me when you have reached this end here. Okay, okay my lovelies, so this is the end of the first row here, and I have 10 stitches all together. So this is pretty much what the width of your band is going to be as we continue to work on it. Okay, so for the second row, which is also a repeat row, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and then we're going to make sure we have visibility to the back loop of the stitches here. So we're gonna hold our work so that we can have access to it, and then we're just gonna flip it and go into the very first stitch and grab the back loop, and then we're gonna complete a single crochet just like that. And then we're gonna go into the next stitch and go in the back loop and complete a single crochet. And then we're gonna go into the next loop, into the next stitch, grab the back loop and complete a single crochet. And this is what you do all throughout the stitches, with the exception of the last one, whereas as a preference of mine, I go through both loops. You don't have to, you can go through the back loop for that final stitch as well. But we do this to the end, and then at the end we chain 1, we turn, and we repeat what we're now doing in this row. Okay, so it's just back loop, single crochets until we have the length of our band. and I will talk a little bit about how you do that. But as you can see here, I'm just about to finish my last one, so I'm going to go through both loops like this and complete that single crochet. It's supposed to go in through the back loop alone. So this is the second row. And then you do a chain one and turn, and then you just repeat this for as long as you need to have it to get the length of the circumference of your head. Okay, so I'm just gonna place this down really quick here so I can talk to you a little bit about the sizing. Okay, so with a tape measure, what you will do to get the circumference of your head or the head of the person you're making this for, you're just going to use your tape. I use inches, and I just put it around my head like this. Okay, so whatever your it's gonna come up to, mine comes up to about 24. So this circumference here is the head, let's say, because it's small now because I'm showing it to you on video, but this would be the circumference of your head. So for example, for mine, it's 24 inches. It's 24 inches like this. So if I go from here to here, this is the circumference of my head. It's like this, okay? And so I'm going to make this band here to be the length of this. So it's going to be 24 inches long. So it's going to be this long, but only if I really, really stretch it. This is going to create a very, very stretchy material here. So when you finish and you really, really stretch it like this, you stretch it to get to the length that is the circumference of your head. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to continue to work on this here. When I have 24 inches of the band very, very stretched, then I'm going to come back and show you what to do in the next part of it. Okay, so see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and created the band here for my hat. And as you can see, this is how it looks like. I'm not stretching it at all. If I don't stretch it at all, this is how it looks like. So this is where my head will go through here. And as you can see, it's not that long like this. But if you stretch this, it becomes really, really stretchy. This yarn and this stitch like this makes it very, very stretchy. So I have 60 rows altogether here. And as you can see, if I stretch it, it's very, very, very stretchy. Look at how long this is. So this is my 24 inches, okay? So I kept working on it and I kept measuring as I was working on it until I got to the 24 inches that is the circumference of my head. So now that we have done this, we're going to move on to the next step of the project, and we're going to change the color to the orange one as well here. So the first thing that I will do here is I'm going to make sure I join the band from here to here so that we can work on it in the round and around, okay? So I'm going to take the yarn, the little string that I had left hanging from the beginning of the project, and then I'm going to put it in the darning needle. And by the way, if you did not leave the string hanging here previously, all you will need to do is just cut this yarn off and then cut some that is enough to sew here, put it in your darning needle, and then you just go ahead and get started on this side here. So I'm going to line my work up like this. It doesn't matter which side you line it on. You could do it like this or you could do it like that. It doesn't matter too much in this case. But for me, I often do it so that the left, because I'm right-handed, so that the hanging string is on my left-hand side, or sorry, on my right-hand side, so that when I join, I go like this, okay? Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and join this. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab the first stitch right here like this, and I'm going to loop it to the other side, back to the other side like this, and I'm going to pull, and I will do that one more time in the same stitch just to reinforce that part of it here, okay? And now that I have done that, I'm going to now work in the stitches. So for the next stitch, I'm going to grab the front loop, which is facing me. And on the other side, I'm going to grab the loop that is closest to me as well on the other side. So it's the inside of the other side and it's the outside of this side. Then I'm going to pull. Then I'm going to go to the next one and do the same thing. And of course, if you know how to do the joining in other ways, different ways than I'm using, you absolutely can. You don't have to necessarily join your band using this technique. You can use other techniques if you prefer, or if there's something that you're just used to that you're able to do very easily and clean, go ahead and do that. I'm just showing you how I do most of my joining with this type of projects. Okay, so we're going to do this all the way to the end here. As you can see, I'm almost at the end. So that's it here. And then for the second last one, we do the same. Just like that. And then for the very last one here, we're gonna go through both loops and then both loops on the other side. So we don't grab one loop anymore. And just like we did at the beginning here, I'm gonna do that one more time just to reinforce that section here, just like that, okay? And then what I will do is I will just pull these out and leave these here. In case we need to fix anything, it's good to have this hanging yarn that you could just undo really quick. And as you can see, this is the band of my hat here. And so I'm going to disconnect this color because we're going to go into the orange. So I'm going to take my yarn and I'm going to cut this somewhere here, not anywhere too far because we don't want to waste too much yarn. And then I'm going to jump into getting my orange color. Okay, and as you guys remember as well, I said this is a bigger size than this is a lightweight number 3, and this is a medium number 4. So it's not a problem. You can use the exact same size yarn for both, but you can also just do it the way I'm doing it here. And now that we have this yarn that we have hanging here, I'm going to connect my yarn here. So I'm going to just go ahead and put it here, and I'm going to bring this yarn. I'm going to go into the next stitch right here like this, and then I'm going to bring my yarn in like that. Okay, then I'm going to do a single crochet. Okay, and so for the rest of this here, we're going to go ahead and do half double crochets. So I'm going to chain 1, and then in the next stitch here, I'm going to go ahead and do a half double crochet just like this. Okay, then I'm gonna go into the next stitch, which is right here, and complete a half double crochet. And at this moment here, you also have an option to increase your crochet hook size if you want it to be nice and fluffy and very soft and not too tight. You can increase your hook size for that reason, so you can go to 5.5 or to 6. But I know how to control my tension to a point where if I want it to be loose, I can use a small hook size and make it loose. But I know if you're just learning to crochet, that may prove a little bit difficult for you. So just grab a bigger crochet hook size, okay? So I do these half double crochets all around the circumference of this band. So I'm going to do it all the way here until I get back to the beginning here. So I would like you guys to do the same. And as you can see, the beginning, the orange yarn that I had used to join here, and the black one, I just work it into the stitches as I work throughout my work. So I just go ahead and work it through the job like this. As you can see, the black one is still here. I finished the orange one around here. So it's just to weave it in so you don't have to worry about doing that at a later time. And keep in mind that is different from the one that we used to join the work here. Those are two different yarns that I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm gonna have you guys work on doing the circumference of your hat with this orange color all the way here, and then when you get here, come back to the video and I will show you what to do next. So I just wanted to show you guys quickly here what I mean by where I put my stitches, because I know this for this section here we don't have definite stitches that we're working into. But what I do is each of the rows of the single crochets is what I call stitches in this case. So as you can see here, the best way to tell it is when you see this valley or this place that dents in like this, I call that a stitch. And then the one that protrudes like this, I call that one stitch. So as you can see here, I did one stitch in this section that dents in. And on the one that protrudes like this, I'm going to do a stitch on top of that. And that is what I call by going into the stitch and doing the half double crochet. It's not very it doesn't give you definite stitches that you may see, but for this type of projects, this is usually how I do it. Again, if you have a way of counting these stitches here and be able to work into them, go ahead and do that. But I just do it like this, where one stitch goes in the section that comes out and one stitch goes in the section that goes in, and then I just repeat that. Okay, so I wanted to quickly show you guys that because I know that may be a little bit confusing for some of you. Okay, so I'll see you guys when you get to this section here. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed my half double crochet stitches around the circumference of the band here. And as you can see, that's how that looks like. And then I have completed my last half double crochet here. And I'm going to slip stitch on top of that first half double crochet that I completed. And I do it just like this. Okay. All right. Now that this is done, we're going to start row 2, and row 2 is going to be the repeat for this project. So I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to turn, okay? The reason I'm turning is I'm going to be working with back loop half double crochets, and I want the ribbons to be on both sides of the hat, because if I continue to work in the circle, one side will have the effect of that and the other side will not. Okay, so I will go ahead and complete my first half double crochet here. So after chaining one and turning, I do a half double crochet in the next stitch, and I just go into it like this, and then I go and complete all loops like that. Then I yarn over, I go into the back loop of the next stitch and I complete a half double crochet. Then I go in the back of the next stitch and I complete a half double crochet. And then this is pretty much the continuation all around until we come back to here, where we will then slip stitch on top of this chain one, and then chain one, turn and repeat. Okay, but for now I will have you guys go ahead and complete this second row of the orange. Come back here. When you get back here, come back to the video. I will show you how to start the third row. Then I will talk about how we do the color change, because we're going to be alternating between the orange and the black for the Halloween. Okay, so I will see you guys at the end of this row. Okay, my lovelies, so I completed my second row here, and as you can see, second row in the orange, and as you can see, I did my back loop half double crochet in this stitch here, and so I'm gonna slip stitch on top of this chain one that we started the row with. So I'm just gonna go on top of that stitch and do a slip stitch like this. Okay, so this locks this row and it completes it, and this is how the second row looks like. Okay, now again, keep in mind this hat really stretches, so it's gonna fit you fine. So if it looks small by the look of it, don't worry about it. And for the sizes too, by the way, this is actually between a medium and a large, or almost a small and to a large, to be honest with you, because if you don't stretch it at all, it could fit a small. If you stretch it a little bit, it could fit a medium, but if you really stretch it, it could be a large. So that's how I look at it. Of course, increase this section here if you need it to be for it to be a bigger hat size, and you could also reduce it for it to be a smaller hat size for a child, for example. Okay, but this is small for an adult, from anywhere from small to a large for an adult. Okay, so we're gonna start our third row, and I'm gonna go ahead and do a chain one, and then I'm gonna turn. And what I do while I turn is I actually flip it easy. It's easier for me to work with it when it's flipped like this. So I turn and then I flip it so I can actually hold it like this. And then again, we continue to do what we did. So in this next stitch here, I'm going to go ahead and grab the stitch and do a back loop half double crochet, just like that. Then I'm gonna go into the next stitch and do a back loop half double crochet, and then in the next stitch I have double crochet in the back loop, and then we just continue to repeat this, and just like we did the second row in the orange, we're gonna come all the way to here, and then when you complete your final one in this stitch here, you slip stitch on top of this, chain one, turn, and then repeat. And in terms of how you change the colors, that is absolutely up to you, but the way I'm gonna do it is the length of the band here is I'm going to duplicate that in the length of the orange. Then I'm going to change the yarn and do it in the black and then the orange, and do it like that until I have the length of my hat or the size of my hat. But what I will do is I will do this, as many of these, I think it's about 3 inches in the orange, and then I will come back so I can show you how to change it back to the black and how to start with the black. Okay, so I will see you guys when you have completed the color orange, however you want to change the color. If you do just one row, then you have to just pause the video and then continue when the next section of the video comes along. Okay, so I will see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed 6 rows of the half double crochet in the orange color, and that is my it's about 2.5 inches per for this color versus this black color at the beginning here for the rim or for the band of the hat. So with that done, I'm going to change the color back to black. So I'm going to place this nice and flat like this, and I'm going to cut the yarn off, and then we can go ahead and do the other go back to black, and then that's how we alternate the color. So I'm just going to cut it somewhere here. We're going to put that guy away for now, and then I'm going to bring in the black, and then we're going to work as much as these many rows here for the black as well. Then we're going to switch back to the orange, and then that's how we alternate the project until we have the length of the hat here. Okay, so it's pretty much a black and orange hat. Okay, and again, this is a Halloween theme. It's very easy to make, as you can see, and it's very fast to make as well, so you can do this in literally in one evening if you wanted to do that. Okay, so now I'm gonna change the color here, and what I will do is I will go ahead and now I finished my half double crochet here, so I'm gonna go on top of the chain one just like this, and then I'm gonna change the color. So as you can see, I just bring the loop through, but I don't complete it. Then I put in the color like that. Okay, now that I have this color here like this, I'm gonna chain one and I'm gonna turn. So we're gonna go ahead and work on this side as well, just the same as we did on the other side. And for these two colors here, I'm not gonna weave them through as I go. It's gonna be easier for me to just do that a little bit later. But for here, I'm gonna go ahead and just go and do my half double crochet here, and then I go ahead and do a half double crochet. And again, as you can see, I'm working in the back loop of the stitches, and I'm gonna do 1 2 3 4, and for the fifth one, and I'm gonna actually just flip my work so that it's easier for me to work on it like this. For the fifth stitch, so instead of going into this stitch here, I'm going to just go and bring it into the bottom of that stitch like this. Let's just redo that again because we don't want it to have a gap. So instead of going into this stitch, we're gonna go into here and bring it like this. So it just makes it so that there's this section that goes down like that. And then for the next stitch, we do 5 regular half double crochets. That's 3 4, and then for the fifth, I'm gonna go into here and do it like this, and then complete my half double crochet. So it just has these little not teeth, but like it has this little black that goes into the orange like that. And then for the next 4 half double crochets, I go work through the back loop, as you can see here. So these are 4, and then for the fifth, I go under like this and go and complete it like that. Okay, so just something to have a little bit of a difference in terms of how we work on our work like that. And if you look on this side, it's not quite doing that, but this is the side that it's gonna show like this. Okay, and as you can see, your hat, you're gonna be able to wear your hat in any way that you want. So if you wear it with this side on the outside, you do have this, and if you do it on the other side, you don't quite have that same look, but it does give it a little bit of a different look. Okay, so go ahead and alternate this, do 5 and then do 4 regular half double crochets in the back loop, and then for the fifth, just go a little bit lower to complete it, to go into the hole that is like that to complete it, and alternate those all the way around. And when you come back to where the where we started the row, come back to the video and I will show you how to do the next row. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed the first row in this black, and as you can see, just the alternation of how we did this row here makes it look like that. And so I'm going to finish, as you can see as well, I did my 1 2 3 4 half double crochets in the back loop, and then my last one is I go a little bit deeper into the orange for me to continue to have this effect like this. Now that that's completed, I'm just going to go ahead and slip stitch on top of the chain one that we did here. Then I'm going to chain one, I'm going to turn, and then for this row here, I'm just going to do the regular half double crochets all around the circumference here. And then when I get to the end, I will slip stitch on top of the chain one that we just started the row with, and then chain one, turn, and pretty much continue that until I have the same rows as this one. It could be we're doing it by rows, or we could do it by like the length. So if you measure this, like I said, it's about 2.5 inches for the orange. Because the black yarn is a little bit smaller than this, we may have to do it a little bit more if you want to match it by the number of inches. But if you want, you can also do it by the number of rows, which is just we do 6 rows of the black and then come back. However you will choose to do it, finish that and then come back to the video, and then I will go ahead and show you how to change back to the orange. and then we just continue that like that. Okay, so I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have done 6 rows here of the black. So I decided to go with rows, not the number of inches. Like I said, this is 2.5 inches for this orange here, because this is 2.5 here, and I did just 6 rows of this, which I think is about 2 inches long for that part of it. So I'm gonna go with the number of rows as opposed to the inches. Okay, so I have reached the end here, so I'm gonna cut this yarn off. I'm gonna cut it off somewhere here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and switch it to the orange again, and then I'm gonna do 6 more rows of the orange, and then we're gonna continue like that. So if I do have 6 rows of the orange and I see that it's enough, then I'm gonna finish it off with the black, so the top of the hat will be in the black. Okay, so again, in the way that you want to order the colors, that is absolutely up to you. You can put them in any order that you want. It doesn't have to be the way I'm doing it. Okay, so we have the yarn is cut here, so I'm gonna slip stitch on top of the chain 1 from the beginning of this row. So instead of completing it completely, I'm gonna do it like the way we did it before, and I'm gonna change the color to the orange one here like this, just like that. Then I'm gonna chain 1, and then I'm gonna turn, and as I turn, I will flip my work so that I'm working on this side like this. And then for the next 4 rows, I'm going to do the regular half double crochet in each of the 4 stitches, and then in the 5th stitch we're going to do the same thing we did here, which is to go a little bit lower with the color orange. So as you can see here, I have 1 2 3, and this is my number 4 right here, like that. And for number 5, I'm going to go in, and I'm going to go into the stitch here like this, and then complete my half double crochet, and then do half double crochet in the back loop for the next 4 stitches. So that's 1 2 3 and 4, and then for the 5th, I'm gonna go ahead and do it like this, like that. Okay, so again, we're doing the same thing that we did with the black here. So we're gonna continue to do this again like we did this all the way around. And then for the second row on the orange, we just do our regular half double crochets in the back loop, and we do that 6 times. And then we change the color back to the black, and we do that with the black for another 6 row. And then we're going to continue. We're going to stop at that point, depending on how big our hat has become at that point. Okay, but for now, do 6 rows in the orange, 6 rows in the black, and then come back. And don't forget, every time you do the first row of the color change, you do it like this. Okay, we create these little elongated stitches here like that. Okay, I will see you guys when you get there. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and worked up the rest of the project here, as you can see. So when I left, I had shown you guys how to do this orange color here, and then I finished that after 6 rows. I changed it to the black, then I finished 6 rows of those, and there, this is where we are now. So this is how our hat looks like so far. So I'm not gonna keep working any more rows that are like this on it. So I'm just gonna start to decrease with the black to be able to bring this in, so we can be able to shut the top here. Okay, so I'm gonna show you quickly how to do that, and then I'm gonna have you guys working on it until you come to the point where it's close enough to close by just kind of sewing it together or putting the actual ending together. Okay, so as you can see here, I have, after my 6 rows, I have slip stitched on the side. So what I will do is I will do a chain 1 and turn. So now I'm going to be working on this side here, and for this side I'm going to start to work decreases. And what I will do in this particular one is every five stitches I will decrease. So what I will do, and I will no longer go in the back loop of the stitches, I will just go through both stitches like this and complete a half double crochet, and then go in the next and complete a half double crochet, and in the next. So this is going to be my 3rd, my 4th, and then in my 5th, which is here, I'm going to decrease by putting these 2 together. And to do that, I'm going to yarn over, go into this stitch, bring it back. I have 3 loops on the hook, just like I'm completing a half double crochet. but instead of completing it, I'm gonna go into the next stitch and then bringing the yarn back, and it makes it 4 loops on the hook. Then I'm gonna yarn over and go through all 4 loops on the hook like that. So I just decreased by putting these 2 stitches together. Okay, and then for the next 5 stitches I do regular half double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and in the 5th and 6th I put them together. So I go into the 5th and then into the 6th and then complete my half double crochet, and then I repeat that by doing 4 half double crochets each on its own. And then for the 5th and 6th I put them together. So this is 3, 4, and then for the 5th and 6th like this I put them together. Okay, so this is what you will repeat all along until you come back here, and then you will slip stitch just like as usual, slip stitch on top of this, and then you will chain 1 and turn and repeat exactly what we did here. You do five stitches on their own. On the 5th and 6th you decrease, and then you do 4 on their own. On the 5th and 6th you decrease, and you continue to work that as many times as it takes to bring these in. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the same. When I have reached a point where I need to stop and we could just sew the top shut, then I'll come back and I will show you guys how to do that, and I will also tell you guys how many rows I ended up doing for the decreased rows. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed reducing my hat here. So as you can see, it absolutely kind of shrunken into the top like this because we want to be able to shut the top here. So after my 6 rows of the half double crochet in the back loop, I ended up doing another 8 rows of the regular half double crochet but decreases. Okay, so just decreasing until this is my 8th row right here. So I decided I will stop it here because we don't have to make this hole any smaller. We will be able to shut it just by sewing it together. So I'm gonna go ahead, I've already slip stitched the yarn here, so I'm gonna go ahead and just cut that off, but I'm gonna make sure I leave a long tail because we're gonna need to use our darning needle to put that together. So I'm gonna cut it right here like this, and then I'm gonna put my crochet my scissors away, and what I will do here is I will just do a chain 1 and pull. Okay, just like that, and then this closes the top like this, or this locks in the yarn like that. And then what I will do is I will bring in my darning needle and I will put the yarn into the darning needle just like that. Okay, and then for the top here I'm just gonna sew it together, but the way I will do it is I will go around the top stitches. So I'm just gonna put my hook on this stitch here. Okay, and then I'm gonna just kind of weave it through like this all along the top stitches of our project, and I'll pull that in. Then I will go into the next stitches here. So hopefully you guys can see this. I apologize, working with black yarn is very difficult to see, but I'm hoping you guys will be able to see this. And you just keep weaving it like this, and you keep going around and around until you come back to the section where you started off right here. Okay, so you just go like this, like that, and then when you have reached the end here, you're gonna pull. Okay, so as you can see, just doing that closes the top. And then what you can do here is you can just kind of start to make it more secure by just weaving it through like that and going around and just grabbing as little yarn on top here to be able to sew these here. And you just keep doing this a little bit by a little bit, and then when you're satisfied that you have closed the top here properly and it's shut and it's secure, then you can stop. Okay, so just something like that. As you can see, that's pretty much how the top looks. It's nicely closed, and if you put it down, that is how the top looks like. Okay, so for that reason, it's done. I'm gonna remove this here. I left a little bit of a long yarn here. Could have probably made it shorter because we didn't have to do too much here. And then what I will now do is I will pretty much weave in the yarns here. So there's this one at the beginning. There's where we change the color all the way every time. And then there's the one on top here. And that's all I have to have done before the project is over. And this is pretty much our hat. So as you guys can see, it's nice and slouchy and long. If you're wearing this in the winter, because even though it's a Halloween theme hat, you can wear these pretty much any time of the season, well, colder seasons. And you also have a choice to put a pom-pom here. I'm not gonna do that, but you do have a choice to add one if you want to. Yeah, so I'm gonna weave my ends here, and pretty much the project is done. So I'm not gonna show you guys how to do that because you just have to weave these in and then your project is done. So I'm gonna let you guys go from here. I hope you guys had fun making this one with me. It's very simple, a couple of hours to complete the whole thing. And so if you're making some for this coming Halloween in a week, you have plenty of time to be able to do that. Okay, thank you so much for watching the video to the end. Make sure you subscribe, comment, share the video, and like it if you like it, of course. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to comment on the section below. Thank you so much again. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.